How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Saint, or in the native Dutch, they drop the A, S-I-N-T. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. From 2010, although some places say 2011. This is from the Netherlands, I believe, and it might be that the 2010 was their release of it and then 2011 was international. I'm not sure. The back of the box says 2010 though, so I'm going with that date. Anyway, this is a Christmas horror movie. It's December, and right now we're covering Christmas movies all month long, and if you guys know this channel, this is primarily a horror channel, so most, but not all, but most of those Christmas movies are going to be scary Christmas movies, and this is about the ghost of Saint Nicolas, so that's pretty fun there. 2010, directed by Dick Moss, starring Egbert Jan Weeber, Caro, Lenssen, and Bert, Luppes. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those names, not 100% familiar with all of them. Let's go ahead and jump into the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece about certain plot elements, and I want you guys to have a basic understanding of what this movie is about. So, this movie, it opens up hundreds of years in the past, in old-timey Amsterdam. Santa has just come over in a boat from Spain, the real-life human Saint Nicholas. But in this old-timey past, we see that the legend of Saint Nicholas is actually the reverse of what you expect it to be. You see, in this version, people left presents for Santa Claus out their front door to appease him, rather than Santa giving it to them. He took the stuff from them, and then you even get to see like kids on the rooftop hiding from Santa, and a few trying to escape, and the kids go down the chimney to get away from Santa Claus. So it's a reverse. You see, this version of Saint Nicholas is a man who has power, and he's using it to lord over people, and he gets back on his boat for Spain, but some of the angry villagers aren't going to let him just get away with this. Once he's on his boat and can't get off, the villagers go and set the boat on fire, burning Saint Nicholas and all his shipmates to death. Now, this happened on December 5th, under a full moon, and as a result, his ghost is going to seek revenge every December 5th when there is a full moon, which happens every 30 to 40 years, more or less. Kind of like Pennywise, where he'll come back, but it will be a long time before he comes back. So you have these big gaps there. Anyway, cut to about 30 years ago, December 5th, full moon. There's a kid with his family, and they're in a small house kind of away from everybody. The ghost of Santa and all his helpers come and absolutely destroy everything. The only person who manages to flee and escape Santa is the young boy. Maybe he'll show up again later. And then, once we know what the danger is, cut to modern day. Modern day, you get some kids in their college class doing a gift exchange, and of course everybody brings wildly inappropriate gifts, but you get to meet your one, what appears to be your final girl character, but when you learn a little more about her, you find that she's done a few things that a typical American final girl wouldn't do. The driving thing here is she recently got drunk and slept with her best friend's boyfriend. Now, the best friend knows that he slept with someone, doesn't know it's her, but they break it off, and the boyfriend says, "Hey, I really do like you, we should be together." But she doesn't know, it was a mistake, and it's all moving so fast, so she doesn't know if she really wants to be with him, but he likes her. and that's kind of where the drama starts. The boyfriend, we cut to him, and he's getting ready to go out and party for Saint Nicolas Day. And yeah, that's something I should say is it's December 5th, Saint Nicolas Day, not December 25th, Christmas. Now, I'm not sure if in the Netherlands they celebrate both and they get an extra holiday, or maybe this is instead. Maybe they do all their celebrating on the 5th, and they don't do anything on the 25th. I don't know. I really wish, this DVD has a making of featurette. I really wish they also had a This is Christmas in the Netherlands featurette. I think that would have been really interesting, because you learn a few things. In this version, Santa doesn't have a sleigh. He comes in on a ship to bring people presents, and even the good version of Santa they talk about, rather than giving the bad kids coal, actually takes the kids back to Spain if they're bad. So that's a much steeper threat. You get to see that people have to write their loved ones poems on St. Nicholas Day as well as gifts, so that's a lot of work. I'm glad we don't have to do that. But there is one thing that I guess I should mention. In the Netherlands, instead of elves, Santa has these characters, Black Peters, who are African, and seeing as how in the Netherlands there aren't too many Africans, they tend to portray these characters when they dress up like them using blackface. Now, this is something that the people of this culture, they don't think anything of, it's just what they do. But to an American perspective, this is very awkward to see them doing this and not thinking anything of it. It's a moment of culture shock. Luckily, it's not in the movie too terribly long. You do get to see two characters dress up like this, but they're not in the movie too terribly long. And you do also get to find, I guess it's another twist on the narrative, that in this version, the real-life Black Peters aren't actually African. They're actually burnt-up sailors from the ship. So that's a twist on it, I guess. But it's not in the movie too terribly long, but I guess it's something you guys should know about going into it. But anyway, the girl's kind of new boyfriend is dressed up as Saint Nick. His two friends are Black Peters, and they get in their car, and they're trying to go party, but the GPS keeps leading them to bad places, roads that are closed down or dead ends, and they get to this one dead end, and they don't know where to go, and Santa comes and kills the two people that aren't the girl's maybe new boyfriend. Now, he manages to get away, but you do get to see some pretty gory kills. In fact, for the first little bit, it seems more like a slasher movie than a ghost movie. They do really play up the gore with this one. If someone gets stabbed in the stomach, there's going to be intestines that's come out, There's going to be blood and gore and faces that get ripped up. This movie does have some pretty good gore effects. Now, it doesn't go over the top or try to make them more than they might be, but if someone gets hurt, they're gonna show it. And I do like, when a movie doesn't hold back and you do actually get some gore. Now, he gets away. The police, of course, think he killed his friends, but he eventually gets away from them and meets this detective who's not supposed to be working, and the detective turns out to be the boy from the prologue. His parents were killed by Santa. He's one of the few people that actually believes in a real Santa and knows that it's evil. So he's spent his life waiting for the next full moon that happens on the 5th, and he's been planning and preparing and trying to get his revenge on Santa Claus. Now, the girl, who we thought would be more of a final girl character, actually isn't in the movie too much after this, and it focuses now on the cop and the boyfriend character. And at first I was like, that's weird, they forgot about who they clearly set up to be the main character. But then I realized going in that you're looking at a character that got pulled into this adventure he doesn't want to be in, and that actually is a really good setup, you know, to make you think you're going to be following this other character. Then you follow the character you're actually following, but he doesn't really think he should be in the movie. He doesn't think he should be on this adventure. So it kind of makes the audience feel more like the character feels, because we're suspecting that it's going to be the girl that goes on the journey, when it's actually someone else, and he's like, I don't want to be a part of this. So I guess it is clever storytelling, but yeah, you don't get to see too much of the character you thought would be the final girl. But anyway, as the night goes on, Santa kills a lot more people than you'd think. And like I said, at first it seems more like a slasher movie. Santa's in the shadows and you just see, like, you know, a little bit of it. But as the night goes on, you get to see more and more Santa, and it steps away from a slasher to a violent fantasy ghost movie. And I am glad you do get to see more as the night goes on. This version of Santa is a cool zombie-looking version of Santa. He has his religious robes on, and he has a big staff with this like S design on the cover there. And the big thing, you can kind of see it on the cover, he rides a horse. That is pretty cool to see a slasher ghost character that rides a horse. That is pretty cool, and it leads to one of the highlights of the movie, where Santa is being chased by the police, jumping from rooftop to rooftop on his horse. Now that is pretty cool. And, you know, Santa and all his sailor henchmen and his boat and his horse, whenever you get to see more of these big, crazy fantasy elements, it takes it away from being your standard, you know, slasher, one guy killing a bunch of people, to being on, like, this full-on violent fantasy movie where this, you know, crazy character and his gang show up and just crazy fantasy havoc is wreaked upon the town. And that is really where you get the highlight of this movie, and it is very, very cool. Good creature design, good gore, and really just something I haven't seen too much of. Now, we've seen several versions of Killer Santa Claus. I recently covered Silent Night, Deadly Night, which was a guy who is dressed up like Santa Claus in a slasher. Sometimes you see, you know, say Krampus is a popular one. But to see the uniquely Netherlands version of this character, where it is Saint Nicolas and he's very much dressed up like a saint, although we find out he wasn't really fitting the attributes of that profession. And you get to see their culture. It makes it different enough, but it's not just the culture that makes it different. It's actually portraying a lot of the big magical elements, which usually when you get a Killer Santa, you don't get to see them to this scale. You know, it's usually just Santa, but this is a pretty big and epic incarnation of it. But anyway, I hadn't actually heard about this movie before. I picked it up in my Dollar Tree haul. I think it was actually the very first one. And I expected not very much out of it. I mean, a DVD I picked up for $1. Most of those are just kind of so-so. But this is actually really good, and I really would recommend it for something I didn't know much about. What's this, a Killer Santa Claus movie? It actually really surprised me, and I was really happy to see it. It's a big and epic take on the Killer Santa concept, so definitely check this out. I actually also reviewed Rare Exports, which was another foreign film about an evil version of Santa Claus. And I have to say, you know, the foreign films are really doing pretty good as far as Christmas films go. I'll I'll look forward to finding more. Anyway, thank you guys for watching so far. You really are helping the channel out, and to everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You are really helping the channel out. I'm gonna be doing more Christmas all December long, especially Christmas horror. Not all of them, but most of them. And at the end of the video, I'll put a relevant playlist. Should be the Christmas playlist. So if you want to see more, that will be there. Anyway, I'll see you guys again very, very soon. More horror coming up, and the Christmas playlist there at the bottom. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon.